So I did something last weekend that I am not proud of, and I have been thinking about it every day since.
What happened?
I got into a huge argument with my sister. We were at dinner and she made this comment about my career choices. Something like, "Do you really think that job is going anywhere?" And I just exploded. I said things I regret. I stormed out and I have not spoken to her since.
Hmm.
And the worst part is, I knew in the moment that I was overreacting. I could feel it happening, like watching a car crash in slow motion. But I could not stop myself. The anger just took over, and now I am sitting here with this mess and I do not know how to fix it.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
In the moment your sister made that comment, how long was it between hearing her words and your explosion?
Honestly? Maybe 2 seconds, maybe less.
2 seconds. That is the entire problem and the entire opportunity.
What do you mean?
Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote an entire book about this. It is called On Anger, and it is one of the most practical things ever written about human emotion. He studied anger the way a scientist studies a disease. He wanted to understand it, diagnose it, and treat it.
An entire book about anger. Okay, what did he figure out?
His core advice is almost embarrassingly simple. He said, the best remedy for anger is delay.
Delay? Just wait? That is the ancient wisdom? Count to 10?
I know it sounds simple, but Seneca understood something that neuroscience confirmed about 2,000 years later. Your emotional brain fires faster than your rational brain. The anger hits before the thinking does. When your sister made that comment, your amygdala, your emotional alarm system, fired instantly. Fight or flight threat detected, react now.
Right, that is exactly what it felt like a switch flipped.
But your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that thinks, that reasons, that considers consequences, that part is slower. It needs a few seconds to catch up. Seneca did not know the neuroscience, but he knew the experience. He knew that if you could just create a small gap, a few seconds of delay, your rational mind would arrive and you would have a choice.
So the delay is not about suppressing the anger. It is about giving my brain time to catch up.
Exactly, not suppression. Delay. There is a massive difference. Suppression says, do not feel this. Delay says, feel it, but give yourself a moment before you act on it. Seneca was not asking you to be a robot. He was asking you to be a human who pauses.
Okay, that actually makes sense. But how did Seneca know this? Was he just naturally calm?
Oh, not at all. Let me tell you about Seneca's life because he practiced this under the most extreme conditions imaginable. Seneca was the personal advisor to Emperor Nero, and Nero was one of the most volatile, dangerous, unpredictable men in history.
Nero. The one who supposedly fiddled while Rome burned.
That one Nero was paranoid, cruel, and explosive. He executed people on whims. He turned on his closest allies without warning, and Seneca had to advise this man every single day. One wrong word, one emotional reaction, one moment of uncontrolled anger, and Seneca would be dead.
Oh my God. So Seneca practiced what he preached because his life literally depended on it.
His life literally depended on it. Every conversation with Nero was an exercise in emotional control, not suppression, control. Seneca had to feel the fear, feel the frustration, feel the anger at Nero's cruelty, and then choose his words with surgical precision. The delay was not optional, it was survival.
Wow, okay. So compared to advising a murderous emperor, my dinner with my sister seems a lot more manageable.
It does, and that is the point. If Seneca could practice delay with Nero, you can practice it with your sister. Now let me teach you the full Stoic model of emotion, because the delay is just the first step.
Okay, I am ready.
The Stoics taught that emotions happen in 3 stages. First, the impression. Something happens. Your sister makes a comment. That is the impression. It is just raw data. It is neutral.
Okay. The event itself.
Second, the judgment. Your mind assigns meaning to the impression. Your sister's comment becomes, she is attacking me, she does not believe in me, she thinks I am a failure, That is the judgment, and it happens so fast you do not even notice it.
So the judgment is the story I tell myself about what happened.
Exactly. And third, the response. You act on the judgment, you explode, you storm out, you say things you regret. The Stoics taught that you cannot control the impression. Things happen, but you can examine the judgment before it becomes a response. That examination is where your power lives.
Impression, judgment, response, and the Stoics are saying I can intervene at the judgment stage.
That is exactly where you intervene, and this is where Epictetus comes in. He said something that might be the most important sentence in all of Stoic philosophy. It is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things.
It is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. Okay, so my sister's comment did not make me angry. My interpretation of her comment made me angry.
Yes, and your interpretation might be accurate. Maybe she was being critical, but maybe she was not. The point is, you did not examine it. You went straight from impression to response. The judgment happened so fast that you did not even question it.
Okay, so let me try this. Let me go back to that moment. She said, "Do you really think that job is going anywhere?" And my instant judgment was, she is attacking me. She does not respect my choices. She thinks I am failing.
Good. Now is that the only possible interpretation?
I mean, she could have been genuinely worried about me. She knows I have been stressed about work. Maybe she was not criticizing. Maybe she was concerned.
And Marcus Aurelius would add another layer. He practiced something I call the perspective shift. When someone offends you, consider their perspective. They are acting from their own fears, their own insecurities, their own limited understanding, just as you sometimes do. This is not excusing bad behavior. It is understanding it, so you can respond wisely instead of reacting blindly.
Oh, so maybe my sister was projecting her own anxiety about her career onto me. She has been stressed about her own job lately.
That is very possible. And notice what just happened. You went from she attacked me, to she might have been worried about me, to she might have been projecting her own stress. 3 completely different interpretations of the same event, and each one leads to a completely different response.
Wow, if I had paused for even 5 seconds at that dinner, I might have seen that, and I would not have said those things, and we would still be talking.
5 seconds, that is all it takes. Viktor Frankl, who studied the Stoics, wrote something that captures this perfectly. He said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our freedom and our power to choose our response. The Stoics were teaching this 2,000 years before Frankl wrote it.
Between stimulus and response, there is a space. That space is everything.
It is everything. And every Stoic practice is designed to widen that space to give you more room between what happens and what you do. More room to think, more room to choose, more room to be the person you actually want to be.
Okay, so what is the practice? How do I start widening that space?
The pause practice. For the next 3 days, when you feel a strong emotional reaction, anger, frustration, anxiety, offense, do one thing before you respond. Take one slow breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just one.
One breath.
One breath, and during that breath, ask yourself Epictetus's question. Is it the thing that is upsetting me, or my judgment about the thing? You do not have to answer perfectly, just asking the question creates the space Seneca was talking about.
One breath, one question. 3 days. That is doable.
Try it 3 times over 3 days. Notice what changes. I think you will be surprised.
And I think I need to call my sister.
I think that would be very Stoic of you.
Okay, let me pull together what we learned today. Number 1. Stoicism does not ask you to stop feeling emotions. It teaches you to create a space between what you feel and what you do. That space is where your freedom lives. Number 2. Seneca's core advice for anger is delay, not suppression. A few seconds of pause lets your rational mind catch up with your emotional reaction. Number 3. Epictetus taught that it is not events that upset us, but our judgments about events. Examining your interpretation gives you choice. Number 4. Marcus Aurelius practiced perspective shifting, understanding why someone acted the way they did, not to excuse them, but to respond wisely instead of reacting blindly. And number 5. The gap between stimulus and response is the most important space in your life. Every Stoic practice is designed to widen that gap.
Beautifully said. Seneca would be proud. Now go call your sister.
I am calling her right after this. If this helped you see your emotions differently, follow Stoicism mentality wherever you are listening. New episodes every week.